This is day 9. We did a little bit more than a 24-hour vinegar soak because I was busy for most of the day today. Looks pretty much the same as it did yesterday. It is kind of disturbing looking to me, the paleness with the scales. And this one still has some hair on it. Like I said before, I think if I had left this for another day or maybe 2 in the lime soak, the hair on this one might have come off easier. So when you skin the tails, one side usually ends up a little bit thicker than the other side. This side's quite a bit thinner. And the scales and the hair slipped a lot easier on this. Oh, look at that, you can see right through it. And then this is the thicker side that probably would have benefited from another day in the lime soak. And then this darker color here, it looks a lot darker on the camera than it does in person. I'm not sure if that's bruising from before the animal was harvested or while it was harvested, or what exactly that discoloration is from. But the tail is going to tan and you won't be able to see the discoloration. It'll end up all one dark color. If you end up with some hairs on your tail, you can go ahead and pluck them out with tweezers if you want to. They come out pretty easily. Or you can leave them. I'm going to leave most of these and see if they come out at some point during the process. Or maybe they'll come out easily after it's tanned. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm going to dump the vinegar water, give them a good rinse with plain cool water, and then we're going to start the tea. I'm going to call that good enough. On the rinsing, I'm going to just try and squeeze a little bit of liquid out of these. Also notice that the base of the tail is quite thick compared to the tip of the tail is very thin. We will thin out the thick end later on in the process. I did try a couple different methods of thinning out this end at this point in the process the first time I tanned the tail, and I really didn't have any success. Once the tail has some tannins in there, even though it's wet, it kind of dries out the hide. It gets rid of that rubberiness, so it's easier to shave down this end and make it thinner. So we'll do that later, like towards the end or the middle. We'll see. I'll probably try it in the middle. This is the tea solution I prepared yesterday. And the instructions that I had for the fish tanning recommended starting with a weak tannin solution and then over several days building up to a stronger tannin solution, so that you don't create like a crust, I guess, on the outside that stops more tannins from penetrating. And then I read some other things online that said, yes, but some people start with too weak of a tannin solution and then the hide can spoil. So this is what we're going with. You can see it's not super dark. You can see through it to see my hand underneath and the tail through the tea. So it's not super strong. We'll make it a little stronger for tomorrow. So this was 2 quarts of water in 10 tea bags. I always get the next batch ready for the next day so that it can cool overnight, and I can put it in when it's room temperature instead of hot tea. You definitely don't want to use hot tea. You want to use cooled tea. You'll be surprised by how much darker these are tomorrow. And you can already see it's already holding on to some tannins there. Kind of crazy how fast it happens. Set this somewhere where you'll walk by a few times throughout the day and put a fork next to it so you can pick up a fork or a stick or whatever and move these around a little bit. So the more you move them around, the more the tannins will reach every part of the tails and it'll tan a little bit faster. So we're doing 15 tea bags today. We're actually going to do 16 because they come in pairs. And 2 quarts of boiling water. And then I'm going to let this sit until tomorrow so it can cool down and you can leach all the tannins out of the water or out of the tea bags. The instructions I have recommend salting only the first day, so I'm not adding any salts to this.